from the train was heavier than expected. In from New York. It's Friday. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon here in the Northeast. I guess people wanted to get out of work early, get out of school early. Traffic on 76. I'm late, and not only that, I sit down. I've been at the OpNext conference in New York for the last 2.5 days, and I get bombarded by a couple of Zoomers here, Zoomer Seth and Zoomer Zach. Welcome back to the show. It's a pleasant surprise to have you back on the show.
What's up, freaks? Logan, hit the button.
I thought he did hit it.
What? I did hit the button.
No, hit the other button. Do you know which button I'm talking about?
I'm fixing the YouTube, so I wasn't paying attention to the last thing Marty said.
He just welcomed the Zoomers. Press the button.
Okay. Okay.
The youth is starting to change. The youth is starting to change. The youth together. Wow, I didn't know you guys soundboarded that. I love that.
Needless to say, since you were late, we had a lot of time to plan. How was OpNext?
It was great. It was great. Shout out to Will, Charlie, Colin, and the team over there. Put together a good week of programming, good half week of programming in New York City. It was great to be back in New York. Did a lot of walking. Averaged about 15,000 steps over the last 3 days. The content was great. Matt, I won't say who I was sitting with or standing with, but there was a circle. There was 4 of us, and it made me very nostalgic for our New York days. Matt Corallo was one of them, and there was 2 others who were very conscious of their privacy.
I know who one of them it was. He must have
doxed them. We were standing in a circle, and I was like, holy crap. We've been doing this in New York for like 11 years. I remember being at BitDevs in the co-working space in like 2015, and like it was a small.
I know at least
back then.
3 of 4 of you aren't living in New York anymore. Was the 4th one?
No, not anymore.
4 of 4. Wild.
Yeah. It was good. A lot of quantum talk, as you guys can imagine. The suits are here, and they're going to make sure that we're quantum prepared by the deadlines, 2029. So we don't have to worry about quantum anymore. The suits are here to take care of it.
I mean, it's definitely gearing up to like BlackRock and Saylor trying to force through a quantum fork, huh?
I don't know if Saylor would be the one to do it, but I think
he's got a quantum task force. He announced on his last board meeting.
He had the Bitcoin Mining Council too. He had the whole like digital ID thing that they tried, this lightning stuff over Zoom, and a lot of that stuff dies on the vine. And I think Saylor's more receptive to the tides of narrative within the Bitcoin community, whereas I think Coinbase and BlackRock are less susceptible to, or less wary, or what's the right word? They care less about what Bitcoiners actually think.
I guess we'll find out. Marty, you kind of nailed the bet last week.
Yeah. It's not over yet. I need 5 days. Were we going to April 21st?
I mean, I feel like, has there been any hostilities since we made the bet?
Apparently Israel bombed a motorcyclist in southern Lebanon an hour after the deal was made. So we'll see.
What, recently? Did that just happen?
Yeah, like a couple hours ago.
Oh, okay. So you didn't win the bet yet?
Well, we'll see.
Okay. Did you see that I added a live bet tracker to rhr.tv?
I did. It's very good. I think it's a little skewed. I don't think you have enough history there. It makes you look like a much better bettor than you are because it's historical.
Well, no. Well, first of all, I put the history that I remember. We have a lot of bets. And then second of all, it says that you won 1 million sats on mempools not clearing again. That was like 3 double or nothings. Like that one alone was multiple bets in one, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just kept losing on the mempool side until my lady told me to stop betting on mempools, and then I've been on a streak.
Yeah. We'll flesh that out. We can have our clankers go through the transcript history of RHR and figure out all the bets that we've made.
Yeah, I have the full transcript history, but I didn't go that far. I just went through like whatever my last like 2 years of bet notes were.
Yeah.
But anyway, you're welcome. I put it together.
Thank you.
And I think it's pretty cool. It shows our live. It shows what bets are outstanding. It shows our total wins, the sats that have changed hands. It's relatively been even.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
It's very, very aesthetically pleasing too. Very, very good design. Your clanker did a good job.
Thank you. I'll let him know.
I'll have my clanker send him some props over Noster. We're gonna mend the fences of our clanker trading wars because they went terribly for both of us, I believe. I think we need to bury the hash.
I pulled the plug on mine like day 8. Like, fuck this shit. I was like, you should have just stayed humble and stacked sats. Let Noster know that we're done trading. He's like, okay. He hasn't posted anything since then.
I mean, this is a good opportunity to bring up the dashboard because it would have been nice if our clankers just took like a relatively low leverage long when we started because it would be paying off nicely now because the current price of Bitcoin is $77,340, cooling off after surpassing $78,000 earlier today. One cuck buck's going to get you 1,293 sats. We're at a $1.55 trillion market cap. We are at block height 945,510, which means we are 2,010 blocks away from the next difficulty retarget, and that is because we had one 7 blocks ago, which was an downward adjustment of 2.4%. So early in this difficulty epoch, as of right now, it's looking like we're going to lose a quarter of the hash rate if blocks keep coming in at 11 minutes and 52 seconds on average. But as you all know, if you've been listening to the show long enough, that is not enough data to make an accurate projection of the next difficulty adjustment. Mempools, Clark's teeny weeny mempool, extra heavy today, 7,337 transactions sitting in there. If we go over to mempool.space, we'll see that they have 67,197 transactions, and fees are going up. High priority transactions are going for 4 sats per VByte, medium priority 3 sats per VByte, low priority 2 sats per VByte, 1 sat per VByte transactions priced out right now. And I'm looking at mempool, the last 1 sat per VByte block. I can't even find it. There it is, block 945,482. So it's been almost 30 blocks since you were able to get 1 sat per VByte M. Zoomers, we've been hogging the mics here. How have you guys been?
Life's great. Tax season's over. Now we get to do all the work that got extended. So tax season's not over.
What percentage of people extend?
It was a little embarrassing this year. We'll probably keep that one close to the chest.
Okay.
I thought everybody extends. Why wouldn't you
not
extend?
inherently, but I made firm policy that we just extend everyone. Just it's a administrative. Let's say you have a K1 come in June that we didn't file the original turn with. It's just a quick superseded return versus an amended return, so it just makes life easy.
Yeah, you extend, but you still, if it's a big tax payment, you pay like an estimated tax payment or whatever.
Yeah, that's probably like the most common misconception is you can't extend the time to pay. But a lot of people want to put their balance on a payment plan, but you can't extend and put a payment plan because you have to file to get.
What rate do they give you on the payment plan?
I think it ends up being around like 7 or 8%. So.
Oh, so you can just do that and then put the money in stretch, and then it's free money.
Yeah, it's a risk-free bet, right?
Nice.
Zach, how are you doing, sir? How are things?
I'm well. Happy Friday. We got some cool things cooking at BPI. maybe some big news next week. Keep your eyes open for that. But keep keeping the pedal down in Washington D.C. We got a couple irons in the fire, so all good on that front.
Well, I'm gonna keep you here for a moment. Number one, I wanna I don't know, congrats or just say keep it up. The Bitcoin Policy Hour is a great show. You, Zach,
Thank you.
and the roving cast of the fourth member do a really good job. I've been liking that one. I like your convergence of Bitcoin and AI, and the AI talk has been really interesting. And the policy talk, obviously, it's a hot topic right now.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's been fun. We just crossed a year, so nothing like what you guys are doing, but good crew, Ken and Zach Shapiro. And Zach's pretty fired up on the AI stuff, so always interesting to hear what he's got to say there.
Yeah. Logan, pull up the tweet. Connor Brown. He was teasing earlier today. What's he teasing? Let's drop the alpha here.
You want me to drop the alpha? I might get fired.
Yes.
No,
what's
there's
the trend?
If you can look at the congressional schedule next week, you might be able to piece something together. But that's all you get from me.
All right.
Wait, I love Logan showing us how much ad credits you guys have left in Sats terms.
Yeah. That's just X just gives that to us every month. It just stays steady. At
for the gold check.
Yeah. Yeah. The 516,000 sats in credits, maybe money well spent if it's given to you for free. I don't think you can convert them to sats. So maybe we should pump something that could bring sats in. We'll pump the RHR SOTE code.
Use code RHR. 15%.
Yeah.
Did you see the new flavors?
Yeah, new flavors. I like the lemon lime. It's a good one.
It was a good strategy just sending. I guess he was like, oh, these guys buy a lot of SOTE, and he just sent me I didn't ask for it. He just sent me like a variety pack of the new flavors.
Yeah. Yeah. Some are better.
I like
than
the
others.
Strawberry kiwi.
I haven't tried that one yet.
How many SOTEs a day keeps the doctor away?
3.
Yeah. I'm a 3 guy. One in the morning, one in the afternoon.
It's the line, that should be like the baseline. Some days you need to be more hydrated.
All right, let's get to the list. Vibes have been high, but we're going to start off on a bit of a somber note because we lost somebody in our community last weekend, Aaron Ingalls, who was BTC Aaron on X. And for those of you who didn't meet Aaron, he was an incredible family man. He was a really good golfer. I had the pleasure of meeting him at the Bitcoin Classic held in Tennessee at the Tennessee Country Club in 2023, and just an all-around great dude. Came down with a very aggressive form of brain cancer, fought like hell, and ultimately passed last weekend. Very sad. I think we're highlighting this because, number one, Aaron was a really good dude. I would think it would be a stretch for me to call him a friend, but I spent an afternoon with him a few years ago, and I think if we'd spent more time together, we could easily have become good friends. And him and his wife have set up the Aaron Ingalls Foundation to help other families fighting the same battle with this form of brain cancer. And so I just want to send out prayers, well wishes, and I know for the Tennessee community specifically, this one hits close to home for you guys.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal. Aaron was just a really stand-up dude. High integrity, great to be around. I had the pleasure of playing a full round of golf with him, which was fun, entertaining, and embarrassing. He was on my team, which was good, but he really carried us. And I mean, it hits close to home for, 3 reasons. He was a stand-up Bitcoiner. He was a Tennessee Bitcoiner. And he left behind 3 children. And I don't know. Once you become a father, this shit hits super hard.
Yeah. Yeah, he was young too. 39,
Super young.
40. Yeah. So this goes out to cheers to Aaron. Cheers to his wife, his family, his kids. I know it's a rough time for them right now, but the Tennessee Bitcoin community will be there for you guys. I think I can say that with confidence.
Damn right.
Yeah. So pouring out for Aaron. If you guys feel so compelled and want to help others in a similar position, we'll link to the Aaron Ingalls Foundation in the show notes here. All right, hard to segue out of that, but we have to. And the next thing on the list is Stretch, STRC.
Did you see what I named the episode?
No, what did you name it?
You gotta go retweet it.
Stretch your cheeks for the Bitcoin bull.
The puns are so fun.
Wait,
I mean, look, this
this is a bad one. This is a bad.
Why?
It's the
Why is this a bad one?
innuendo, the visualization I get, which is like I it makes the Bitcoin bull run seem a little less enjoyable.
I feel like
If you
I
will.
feel like the pun nailed it then. Look, this is like clearly the biggest news of the week. What was the total? I think he stacked $2.7 billion worth of Bitcoin using Stretch over the last week and a half or something like that, maybe 2 weeks, specifically into the dividend date, which was 2 days ago. So now it's trading a little bit under par. But I mean, this has been a thesis that he's been running for about 9 months now. And it's, at least in the early days of kind of coming to fruition. I think it's hard to imagine this Bitcoin buying pressure coming out of Stretch not having a significant effect, at least on the short to medium term price, kind of like buyer of last resort. I still think people are understating the risk around the product. I think it's still very early days. And there's a lot of different variables, particularly because like shitcoin land is like building on top of this in a big way as well. Like there's like Solana tokens and stuff that are using Stretch as the base of it. I mean, there's other treasury companies like Strive is buying Stretch to fund their dividend paying version. Obviously the yield is coming from selling MSTR stock, which could create some kind of negative feedback loop after the bull. So I mean, it should be interesting to see how it all plays out, but it's by far the biggest news of the week.
Yeah. I mean, and the conversation around it. I mean, you had CoffeeZilla make an expose on it. Zoomers, what are your thoughts on Stretch? Flywheel.
Are your cheeks spread?
What? Is it flywheel or is it a Ponzi? That's a big discussion.
Could it be both?
My cheeks are spread too wide. I actually don't own any more Bitcoins. So no, I don't know. I hear people talking about it. Like, people kind of in, maybe outside the Bitcoin maxi circles, or maybe here is the wrong word, but certainly see, on the algorithm. But I think there's still the people like us, people who understand Bitcoin, they see this for what it is. So if it's going to pump my bags, not going to complain too long.
What they see it for what it is. What is it then? Do tell.
A Ponzi.
It's not. I wouldn't say that's the consensus view on it.
You don't think so?
I think there's very ardent supporters of this too.
I don't think it's a Ponzi, but the recent post from Saylor, like the live a comfortable life, that feels.
Well, with the girl?
Yeah, like we're probably gonna look back on that one.
Should we play it? Logan, do you have it?
And the one in the pool too, right?
Like,
Yeah,
when
I
you
mean, the
find it,
advertising is bad, man. I think it kind of makes us look like a fucking joke as an industry.
It reminds me a little bit of the people retiring their wives last year on MSTY.
mm,
It's probably a pretty tough conversation to get her to go back to work after that one.
yeah. The I don't know. We've said it many times. It just sounds too good to be true. Could be wrong. Very willing to be wrong on this, but there's just something about it that, especially when you get all this layered risk of
This thing.
DeFi protocols and other public companies stacking it as a treasury asset.
Can we get the sound on it?
On vacation here?
I live here. I'm retired. I just don't think I'm meant to live an uncomfortable life.
Wow. How did you make it?
I worked hard as an engineer to save money. Again. Then I put my savings into Stretch.
What is Stretch?
Stretch is a stock. Right now I get about 11% a year in dividends. Nice.
It's the stretch, yeah, the stretch, 11%.
And Saylor posted this, like, unironically, to be clear. Look, I mean, I just want to be absolutely clear here. Like, I hope it works out, because if it doesn't, it's going to blow up in her fucking face. So I'm rooting for them.
Yeah.
Does it blow up in our face, or does it just blow up in their face?
It blows up in all Bitcoiners' faces if this thing fucking unravels.
I think if you're thinking about investing in it, just consider, like, FDIC insured, a money market versus this is essentially an equity. So only put what money in you're willing to lose.
Yeah. Part of me wonders, like, is there, I mean, because for quote unquote dividend / income bearing instrument, the interest rate is high. Like, how much capital?
It's higher than Madoff promised.
Yeah. How much capital can they suck in? Like, what would deflate the bubble? Or if it is a bubble, what would deflate it? And I think that would be like competition coming to market with other.
Well, I don't know about that, because I mean, you see it with SEEDOR and Strive, like they're at 13%, because Saylor has over 750,000 Bitcoin. Like, I mean, he's got the stack to back it all up, and just time in the market. So I think it'll be harder for people to compete with him on that front. I think the thing to watch is going to be how, if they're able to bring the rate down. Because we actually haven't seen them do that yet. It started at 9, and it was actually higher than 9 because it started under par, right? It started like $80, and it's just been ratcheted up and up and up. Technically, they can lower it 0.5% every month, so there's limits on how much they can lower it. So if in like an ideal situation for them, it would still take them, 6 months, my understanding, to lower it 3%. And I think the real question is what is the market reaction on a lowering event, right? Because if you're making 11.5%, that's why you're in it. And the stock falls to $90, you just wiped out your full year of return. And once you have other stuff built on top of it that's kind of expecting the higher return, and then it falls below par, you could start to see really messy shit happen. But I think that kind of happens. If it does happen, it happens after we, make a good bull run here. Is kind of how I'm looking at it. And then, of course, in that situation, presumably Bitcoin's dropping, Stretch is falling off of par, MSTR is getting hit because it's a leveraged Bitcoin play. Then he has to sell MSTR to pay the dividends. The dividends will be significantly higher because 11.5% is a really appealing rate to people, right? So it's going to draw in a ton of money before that type of thing happens. So, I think that a lot of things could go wrong. And when you see like videos, how to live a comfortable life because you're like a 30-year-old sexy engineer who like pyramided cups with a robot, and now you live like in the Bahamas. I feel like it's not advertised as ethically as it could be.
Zach, anything to add to this?
I'm certainly not an expert on this, but he is also stacking a bunch of cuck bucks, right? Like, is that sort of his contingency plan here?
We stacks the cuck bucks by hitting the ATM of the common, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's still coming from the same pot, right? He just preemptively sold a bunch of MSTR at the bottom so that he has like $2.5 billion. Which, by the way,
what's the market cap of Stretch right now?
From a narrative point of view, that was a pretty savvy move, because if he sold Bitcoin, it could have caused panic. But effectively, from a shareholder point of view, he sold Bitcoin because he diluted shareholders for cash. So their Bitcoin per share went down.
I'm seeing
so that was a pretty savvy move by him.
Market cap right now for strategy variable rate perpetual stretch pref share series A. It looks like, I mean, it's off 100 right now if I'm looking at the right.
Yeah, but the dividend just got, a bunch of there's a bunch of people running strategies where they buy in right before the dividend date, which was when he was ATMing like crazy, selling Stretch on market for $100 a pop.
Yeah, market cap right now is, according to the strategy.com/STRC, is 6.307 billion. Stretch price is $99.21, so off the peg a bit there, by 80 basis points and 79 basis points. And if it was 2.1 billion that they raised via Stretch this week, that will get them 27.2 thousand Bitcoin at current prices. So
insane.
Yeah. So they could get to, I mean, if they were to keep this pace and the price was to stay in line, and you have to imagine the price is going up, the volume for Stretch is probably going to go up too, but they could get to 1 million by the end of the summer.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't... Do you want to bet on it?
Do you want to bet, Seth?
Last year, I was almost tricked into betting for 200K, and I'm glad I didn't take that one. July 31st, 1 million Bitcoin over under.
Matt likes the juice. I got my bet in last week. Matt, this is up to you.
Wait, Marty, he asked you. You said he was going to get over. Seth, would you have the under or the over?
Actually, how many are they at right now?
I mean, I think that while you're looking that up, the other piece, I mean, which kind of goes without saying, but still should be said. I mean, the craziest part is this whole scheme and everything that's built on top of it is basically just at the whims of a few people, right? If Saylor and Fong decide what they want to decide, like, it could have massive effects on anyone who's downstream of it, which is alarming in itself.
Yeah. I think I'll take the over. July 31st.
What is it?
Yeah, I would take the over too. 780,000.
Yeah, I'm also taking the over.
Yeah, so we're all on the same side. If anybody wants to take the under,
I think he does it.
Should we move it to like July 1st?
To be clear, if this thing didn't have demand, there would be really no reason to have concern. Like, part of it is, but then also, like, I don't think people should be surprised if someone offers you a quote unquote guaranteed 11.5% with liquidity, that it has demand. Like, of course it has demand.
Yeah.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Like, Marty, I'm sure you've done this with your friends through the years, where you're like, you need to buy Bitcoin. They're like, no, it's too risky, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you're poor and you need to buy Bitcoin. You should save in Bitcoin. What I'll do for you is, if Bitcoin goes down, I'll take it off your hands. But if Bitcoin goes up, then you can keep the Bitcoin. It's kind of like he's doing this, but on a retail scale.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, over 1 million by I think June 1st would be the line you'd have to set.
That's
See,
aggressive.
I don't know about that.
27,000. We've got 6 weeks. Yeah, maybe June 15th would be the line. Yeah.
I don't know. If it's only like 100,000 sats, maybe I'll do it.
You going under or over? I'll let you take under. I'll take over on that for 100,000.
I'll take under by Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
Yeah, let's make it Juneteenth.
Our favorite holiday here at RHR, so we get
Okay.
Well,
you guys have
wait,
a deal?
wait.
Can you make the deal and can we move on?
No, wait. We have to pick a Monday because that's when they announce. Monday the 15th. Or you have to push it to the 22nd.
Let's go Monday 15th.
Okay. I'll take the over.
All right.
Okay, I'm not putting this on our bet tracker on rhr.tv because you guys have to keep track of this one.
No, put it on the bet tracker. It's
No, we're not going to put external bets on the bet tracker. It's only the bets between me and you.
If the bet was made on the show, I think it should go on the bet tracker. That's just my personal.
We should
Okay,
have
I'll figure out a graceful way to put it on rhr.tv. What is the terms is June 15th. Seth has market close. Seth has over or under?
under.
Okay.
You need to have the leaderboard of Matt
Marty's
versus
bullish.
Marty, and then we can have a leaderboard of guests against Matt and Marty.
I'm just going to put like you on a toggle on the bottom. You're going to be hidden under a toggle.
BTC Pins asked if there is a market for betting on who wins RHR bets.
Look, freaks, you don't need permission. You're welcome to make one. I have no intention of doing that.
Yeah. All right.
I would
enough.
love to see that, though. I support the concept.
I'm sorry. I got a message I'm laughing at. All right. Enough stretch. Stretch your cheeks. Bet is made. Zimmer, Seth, and I will settle it on June 15th. Next up, Quantum. As I was saying, big point of discussion at the OpNext conference this week in New York, and there's been a lot of activity around the subject of quantum, and a lot of proposals for what we may do to make Bitcoin quantum resistant if we deem it necessary. One of which is this quantum safe Bitcoin, which is a quantum safe Bitcoin transaction scheme using only existing consensus rules. So the idea here would be that you don't need a soft fork. We can do it right now. However, this comes with trade-offs. If there's been so many of these, but is this the one where you basically create a new address by running a bunch of GPU compute that costs like $200, and that creates a quantum safe address?
And then it's non-standard, so you have to submit it directly to miners. Is the other big trade-off. But it doesn't require a soft fork, which is awesome.
Yeah, so Bitcoin is quantum safe right now. You just need $200 of compute. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, the trade-offs are high, but I think it's cool that it doesn't need a soft fork. And I like that people are thinking creatively.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of opt-in. And I disagree with you. I do think that BlackRock and Saylor are going to lead and Coinbase are going to lead the charge for stealing Satoshi's Bitcoin. And that's going to be the real fight.
I didn't say I don't think they're going to do it. I said I think out of all of them, I think Saylor's probably the most convincible to not go down that route.
Maybe, but he's never been in a situation where like BlackRock and Coinbase were doing it too. It's still early, and I mean, Saylor came in 2020. We haven't had really any real big controversies. This one, I mean, Saylor was the one who first started the narrative juice on this. He had that interview where he's like, quantum's incredibly bullish because we're going to steal all of Satoshi's Bitcoin. I mean, he said it more eloquently than that, but I think there's a decent amount of people thinking that way. And I think they specifically think that in that fork situation where one side has potential coin that can be stolen and one side has them pre-stolen, the pre-stolen side, supply demand wise, will win out in a market battle. I think if one was going to be conspiracy minded, if you were going to do this, the first thing you would do is try and disenfranchise open source developers within the community, and then try and split the diehards that care about Bitcoin as freedom money, which has been successful in the lead up of this. So my tinfoil hat is on, and I would not be surprised if that's what we see. So it'd be good to have a very solid opt-in proposal that doesn't involve stealing the creator of Bitcoin's Bitcoin preemptively before we see any kind of quantum threat, because that's the only way you could do it. Doing it after the fact would defeat the purpose. So any proposal that leans that way, and we saw a proposal, BIP 361, this past week that it's like more of a high level proposal, but said as much.
Explicitly said we're going to freeze any coins, not just Satoshis, but any legacy address coins will freeze. So did any of you guys watch the stream from the OpNext conference yesterday, particularly this panel with Coinbase, BlackRock? I'm sorry for the third gentleman whose name and company is escaping me, but some other institutional investor runs a fund, and Anchorage. Did you guys watch that at all?
I saw a few of the kind of comments on Twitter. There's a good.
Yeah, the quote. The quote, it was paraphrased, but as you can imagine, Alex B from Mark Labs was in the crowd too. I talked to him a lot after. Shout out to Alex. I fucking love that guy. Bummed we didn't get to hang out more last night. But the Coinbase guy had this incredible, like, Inglourious Bastards 3 moment. And I don't know if anybody caught it, but like he was trying to act like, so a couple comments on the panel itself. They're all worried. They're all saying, hey, our investors are asking us, what is Bitcoin doing about quantum? I'm going to stay on the sidelines, or I'm going to limit my allocation until Bitcoin figures out the quantum question. And they were presenting it like, hey, these investors have gotten smart about Bitcoin. They know, like 5 years ago, this is what the Coinbase guy was saying, they would have no idea about like protocol development. But these days they're saying they understand Taproot and all of that. And like they understood that it took 7 years to get Taproot and Schnorr signatures in the Bitcoin. So they're pointing at that and saying, it can't take this long with quantum. Like, you guys got to do something. And then the Coinbase guy basically said the money's, and the BlackRock guy were saying they're not going to bring money's not going to flow into Bitcoin because of this problem. It's going to be an overhang that's going to prevent the price from going up, which I think it's poetic that the price is up like $4,000 since they said that on stage. The Inglourious Bastards 3 moment was the Coinbase guy was they were talking about BIP 361, but he kept like continuously referencing it. He was like, BIP 361, it's a great proposal. I know it's a little controversial because we're freezing coins, but I think it's something we have to consider. And he kept referencing it as BIP 361. So like every Bitcoiner in the crowd was just like, oh, you actually don't know what you're talking about here. It was like, and I don't know. There was at one point, I forget if it was the Anchorage guy. The Anchorage guy, obviously, I think Anchorage, out of all the representatives on the stage, obviously Coinbase does a lot of custody, but I think the guy that was representing Anchorage probably had the most legitimacy in terms of understanding the technical details. But I forget who said it exactly, but essentially they said Google, Cloudflare, all these companies are upgrading to NIST approved signature schemes by 2029. That's something that Bitcoin should do too. And again, paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of, we're all going to work together to make sure that Bitcoin is upgraded before that 2029 deadline. So they are, to your point, Matt, I do think there is going to be a lot of pressure from these entities to try to change the protocol.
And they're already using the doublespeak, right? It's like freeze instead of stolen, upgrade instead of fork.
Yeah. What do you guys thought? Seth, Zach, anything to add? I got some more things on this subject I want to touch on, but this posturing from the institutions right now, is it something to be scared of? Are they going to learn a hard lesson? Do we have to prepare the ships?
Yeah, I mean, Go ahead, Seth.
Maybe they learn a hard lesson. I mean, I haven't been around Bitcoin land as long as you guys, but it does feel like quantum resurfaces every few years. And so I mean, what is an actual realistic timeline of when it really is a threat? I still feel like we can't even nail that down. And there are actions being taken, so I feel like we're headed in the right direction. But I like the piece you put out, Marty, about like it's not just a quick snap your finger. Like there's only so many people that are technical enough to work on this, and screaming at them is not the way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to timeline of when a quantum computer will actually manifest at scale that can do this in an economically viable way, it depends on who you ask. Like some people are convinced it's right around the corner, others are convinced it's never coming. So that's the thing. It's like such an asymmetric, and I don't want to call it an attack, but it's like an asymmetric sort of discussion.
It's good FUD.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? So it makes really good FUD. I mean, to answer Seth's question, nobody knows if it's even more than theoretical at this point. To give the people that are concerned the benefit of the doubt, I mean, I do think that if it is possible, AI does accelerate it, which is what a lot of the fear is coming from right now, right? Is that it's like, I mean, we've talked about it on the show in the past, not just quantum stuff, but like everything. The variables are wide with AI development at the pace that it's currently at. Like, where will we be in 2, 3 years, 4 years, on a wide range of things, not just quantum. And with Bitcoin, especially for opt-in stuff, it takes a while. You know, it really does take a while. Especially, you got to do it right. I mean, Marty mentioned NIST approved upgrade paths. Like all of those things can be vulnerabilities in themselves. Like you got to be very, very careful with Bitcoin.
Well,
we need to side on the side of do no harm and not fuck things up.
And on that point too, I mean, Rob Hamilton's
above
been
anything
beating this
else.
drum. Rob Hamilton's been beating this drum for years, but he brought it back. He was at Op Next too, and he brought it back up. But like Satoshi, he chose libsec p 256k1 for a reason. It wasn't NIST approved, and I believe it was in BitcoinTalk.org forums back in the day when he was still around. Somebody asked him, "Why'd you choose libsec p 256k1, not a NIST approved cryptographic library?" And he said, "Well, libsec p 256k1 was the only library that didn't have a hard coded constant in it, and it turns out that those constants are what could produce a backdoor." And so this sort of this sort of catering to the perceived authority of NIST is not. I think it's everybody's like, oh, look, NIST is saying this, we should do this. It's like, well, NIST is not perfect, and it could be some way to get a backdoor in. Like,
no,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's almost more likely than not that there's being tactics used to kind of rush us into broken schemes. I think it's more likely than not that Saylor's coin gets stolen by the US government than Satoshi's coins get stolen by quantum. And I think people need to realize that there's a lot of smart people that are smarter than us that are working on these things. And we shouldn't rush into any significant changes to Bitcoin, period.
Well, one question that that I put to Ken and Zach, I think maybe last week, was like, you know, if you take for granted that the BlackRocks and the Coinbases are going to push, you know, some kind of quote unquote solution to this, like, does the community or you know, the more kind of like cypherpunk community pushing a different solution, maybe on a slower timeline or however it may be, like, does that you know, is that going to slow down the momentum that, you know, a BlackRock would get on trying to push a fork through? I'm curious what you guys think. I think, you know, for Zach and Ken, it was like, no, they're just going to do this anyway, and so we should do whatever we think is right, you know, on our timeline.
I mean, I think we need to have. I think it's helpful if we have a credible non-suit proposal, rather than, you know, holding our dick in our hands while they're trying to force through something else. I think it's a more productive, at least at the very least on the narrative side.
Yep.
It makes the debate more productive.
Yeah. And I mean, and that was another, I mean, in the sidebar discussions at OpNext this week, a ton of core devs there. And that was one of the things, like we have BIP 54 basically waiting in the wayside, and that's another thing that you think, like opportunity cost of developer focus on one change over another. And there's a big change that's been worked on for the better part of a decade, which is the consensus cleanup. And it's sort of, the BIP is in its final stage. And I think all that needs to be done now at this point is figure out an activation method, talk to mining pool operators to see if they're ready to begin testing it out and then signaling for it. And this is something that we know we need, because there are bugs. You have the time warp bug. You have all these things that do need to be cleaned up within consensus. And I think there has been, at least among developers, consensus that this is something that should be added to the protocol. And so it's like two things here. One, opportunity cost of priorities. Like, should we really be prioritizing dev mental bandwidth towards the quantum problem? We have legitimate, like actual bugs that need to be fixed that we know about and can be exploited right now. And then two, like the other thing that was part of the discussion at OpNext is, like, if we were to get BIP 54 activated and clean up those consensus bugs that have existed in the code base for many years now, it would signal to the market like, oh, the Bitcoiners can actually make a change and fix these things. But then some of the core developers are worried. They're like, we don't want that to be the message that's taken, because then it'll be like, you expect us to do more stuff when you don't do stuff just to do stuff. You do stuff because it's good and makes Bitcoin stronger. So it's a very interesting social layer to it.
Yeah. The other thing that I'm somewhat curious about on this particular topic is, like, maybe this is a little bit more of my like tinfoil hat view, which is like, to what extent does the US government get involved, right? Like, does BlackRock go to, the Senate or, someone in the administration and say like, hey, we have this fork that we want you to support, right? And I know we've been talking about this for a while, but, it does feel like very real right now.
Do you think, should we bet on whether or not Trump is going to have a Truth Social post about the fork? Is that where this is going? On that.
This is the real Bitcoin. If you don't follow this, you're a loser.
I mean, yeah, that would be the simple version of it. The less concerning version in my mind, right? Like, the real concerning version is, hey, if you don't follow this fork, then this is the white market and black market.
I think it's important to highlight one of the cool parts about Bitcoin is that anyone can hard fork without permission. Basically, the two chains would have a shared history, but going forward, they would have two different chains. And so if BlackRock and Saylor want to, no one can stop them from doing it. And same with anyone else. We've never really seen a hard fork that actually had compelling use cases or reasons for it existing, or good developer support or good stakeholder support behind it. Like, Bcash was kind of a joke, to be quite honest. So it would be interesting to see if that's what happens here, just because we've never seen it. I mean, I think if they do that, there'd be a lot of shareholder risk involved. And I kind of question if they would take that leap. I think Luke and company kind of set the stage for them to at least posture this as a soft fork. But let's be clear here, in both situations, both in the BIP 110 situation and a potential quantum's quote unquote soft fork, that would be more narrative than anything, because a chain split would almost happen instantly. I mean, if one side is freezing a bunch of Bitcoin, all you need is a little bit of that Bitcoin to move, and then all of a sudden you have a chain split. So in practice, this should be thought of as a hard fork, even if it's positioned as a soft fork. And like I said, anyone can do that without permission.
Yeah. Another aspect that I think Rubles has really been leaning into this week, and I think BitMEX research, what they put out, this idea of a canary wallet, a 102 multi-sig, where anybody can participate. If you want to fund the address with Bitcoin, you can do so. And since it's a 102, like you can move your Bitcoin out at any given point in time, but like create that address and like leave it out there as like a canary. Like, hey, if you're working on quantum and you're thinking about moving Bitcoin and you're a ethical actor, you should attack this wallet first. And if we can prove that it was signed by the key that nobody else has access to, then quantum is here. The alarm bell goes off. It's time to move. The other thing is like, if you do begin to and that's the other thing with Satoshi's coins. Everybody's like, Satoshi's million coins. They speak of it like it sits in one address.
Yeah.
Like it's across. It's probably a bunch of different private keys. I think he didn't do much address reuse, so it's like 50 Bitcoin chunks and a bunch of different addresses. So like when people talk about stealing Satoshi's coins, from what I understand, they would have to do it individually in 50 Bitcoin chunks, and it would take them a good amount of time to do that. And then, okay, you do hack Satoshi's coins. You try to move them to Coinbase to sell them. Is Coinbase going to accept those and like sell the Bitcoin and wire cash to your account? Like, I find that hard to believe. And then I think, just broadly speaking, if quantum computers are being developed, like, is this the best use case for them? Like, I don't know. Like,
it is an interesting thought process to go down. Like, if you are the quantum attacker, right? Like, you've discovered, an ability to break this shit, and you're you alone, right? How would you best monetize it? And the straightforward, like, I'm going to steal the Bitcoin and sell the Bitcoin, is probably not the best way to monetize it. Maybe you create a panic situation and you're short on like CME and stuff. It changes if you're a state actor versus a non-state actor, like an individual or like corporate entity or something that figures it out. There is an alternative where you figure it out and then you lock up the Bitcoin and you actually go long on it, right? And you try and monetize on the opposite direction. I do think it's kind of interesting to think about the fact that if the US government does like a SEAL Team 6 raid and like steals Maduro's Bitcoin, Twitter thinks that's bullish. But if the US government like breaks Satoshi's private keys with them, that's not bullish. And it's like, how do you circle that square? Like, how is the US government stealing it through guns bullish, but stealing it through math not bullish? Like, I question the logic in that. But it's an interesting thought process to walk yourself through.
yeah. Gentlemen, anything to add to this?
Matt, you said, the U.S. government steals MSTR's Bitcoin, but they can't steal it if they already own it, right?
I said that earlier, but this time I was saying they steal Satoshi's Bitcoin somehow. But yeah.
No, I'm still very convinced that it's just a proxy SBR. It's working.
I do think you raise an interesting point that for years we had to deal with the FUD that what if Satoshi comes in and market sells and dumps on the price. And as the years have gone on, that kind of disappeared as a FUD line. But now with quantum, it's like reemerged again as a fear. And the unfortunate situation in this situation is Lindy doesn't really help us. Like, as time goes on, it actually makes it more likely, not less likely, which in the opposite case, actually time going on helped us in terms of countering that narrative. But then the other piece is like, okay, like, you guys just bet that Saylor's going to have a bigger stash than Satoshi by the end of June. It's interesting. It's interesting that the same people that are so worried about Satoshi's Bitcoin potentially being stolen are like usually massive Saylor promoters. And to be clear, I don't want to steal or freeze Saylor's Bitcoin. I'm very consistent here. But they are not.
Well, that's the other thing about Satoshi's coins too, that I think is a weak argument from the other side, which is we can't have, like, let's run with the assumption that quantum computer comes, they break Satoshi's wallet, they're successfully able to move it to an exchange and market dump. Like, okay, the narrative is like it's too much disruption, Bitcoin's getting too big. If we have an 80% drawdown because of that, it would be catastrophic. It's like, well, we've had multiple 80 to 90% drop downs throughout Bitcoin's history. It's survived. And I think we would survive that. Like, that is not
100%.
an argument to freeze his coins.
What we wouldn't survive, though, to be clear, is if there wasn't an opt-in path for people to continue using the chain.
Yes.
And so I think it's important to split these two things. Stealing quote unquote non-upgraded Bitcoin, and also, which I don't think we should do, but I do think there should be a reasonable opt-in path for people that are concerned about it. And God forbid there's some, Q day situation where quantum is very usable and very effective. Like, we need a way to transact in that environment.
Yeah.
Didn't Saylor say we shouldn't touch anything?
Yeah, but that he said that right before he said that we were going to steal Satoshi's Bitcoin, and it was going to be bullish as fuck.
Pretty consistent.
Yeah, because what's the hourglass theory? Like, you steal Satoshi's coins, and then you add it on the back end of the subsidy. So you just add.
I mean, that's probably the most retarded of all of the proposals.
Yeah.
Saylor, in his defense, did not suggest that. He was like, the total supply would be reduced.
Yeah.
And our bags would pump.
Yeah, I believe the hourglass proposal is being floated. It's like, let's take his coins and just add them to the subsidy on the back.
Well, there's two hourglass proposals. There's one that's you add it to the mining subsidy, so we don't have to worry about transaction fees taking over the subsidy as soon. And then there's one that's like you limit the number of non-upgraded transactions, right? That are allowed in a block, so that if someone does find it, they can't just like fire sale. They get stuck in a backlog. Which I think is the problem with that one is it's just overcomplicated.
Yeah.
With Bitcoin, simple is better.
Yeah. Yeah. So let the coins get stolen if it comes.
You basically have two mempools in that situation, right? You'd have like the mempool of post-quantum addresses and like a mempool of pre. It gets really messy.
Another thing is like this. There's this focus on like Bitcoin, or excuse me, on Satoshi specifically, but how many people out there have Bitcoin and legacy address where they just like haven't touched the wallet? It's somewhere and they need to go get it. They haven't done it yet. Maybe they wake up one day like, oh yeah, they're like a squirrel. They're like 10 years later remembers, oh, that's where I hid that nut. And they go and find it, and you can't.
Yeah, like the garbage dump dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's been plenty of proof of those people existing, which, by the way, is wild to me. But like in this bull run, right, a bunch of them and the community hilariously gave them shit selling above 100K, which turns out was like probably prudent. But they sold billions of dollars of Bitcoin, and a lot of times it hadn't moved for 10 plus years. So a lot of the assumptions that those coins are lost, I think, are just wrong. But there's no way to prove it, right?
Yeah. And then you get like the ethical privacy argument too. Like, you're going to make people, move their coins and sort of create a privacy gap because you're worried about this. Like, what if quantum doesn't manifest and you just had a bunch of people dox themselves into a new address? We're going to be talking about this for quite some time, gentlemen.
I think so too.
Yeah. I do. Let's give a a nod to the freaks in the live chat zapping us right now. Before we do that, Carlos, Ride or Die Freak, he asked if we have B10C ones, sort of Signet test results from bit 54 in the show notes. We don't, but if you aren't aware, B10C did a Signet test at bit 54, particularly for the time warp attack on Signet, and was successfully able to prove, like, with this upgrade, you cannot do the time warp attack as easily. You had 2 chains running in parallel, one with very long block times and one with consistent block times, because the time warp bug was fixed. So go check that out. Shout out to our boy. Yeah. Shout out to our boy Soap Miner, 21,212 sats. I got my soap, by the way. Thank you for sending it, sir. Looks like we're having a party today. Sup, freaks.
Best soap in the business. Use code RHR.
Palindrome boost, or is that Bitcoin Prague, BTC Prague, 21,112 sats. Another palindrome zap. If you're a rabbit hole recap listener, you're deep into Bitcoin. You're the kind of person we see every year at BTC Prague, the most authentic Bitcoin-only conference out there. Get tickets at btcprague.com and follow the signal that matters. Go check it out.
And he also said, love the bet tracker, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
BTC Prague is a fantastic event. Prague is an awesome city. Everyone speaks English. It's really cheap. It's beautiful. Go. Consider it. And also use code RHR. And hopefully they implement it before you do.
Yeah. Matt 21 zap 21,000 sats. No message. Make no mistakes. 25,000 sats. We are going to win. Yes, we are, sir. 21,000 sats from Jarv Jitsu. Yeah. Oh, I know this one. Yeah, here comes the rooster. Yeah, you know he ain't gonna die. That's Alice in Chains, everybody. I can't hit the notes that Lane Staley could when he was with us, but I gave my best effort there. Satoshi Pacioli. Seth. Is that you zapping or somebody else on the team? 21,000 sats.
That is not me. That is not me. I'm out of sats.
Okay. All right.
Did you hear they bought SatoshiRavioli.com?
Did you really?
Yeah, Joe bought it last week. Yeah, you should go type it in.
All right, back to the
time with that one.
Back to the list. You have a Predator post here. Many of the loudest shitcoiners you see are actually closeted Bitcoin maximalists. If you audit their holdings, you often find Bitcoin is their predominant holding. They're phonies who don't believe the shitcoin thesis. Only shill in the hustle.
What is your current ownership of Bitcoin in terms of like portfolio percentage? Are you have Bitcoin exposure? Do you sell all your Bitcoin? How are you dealing with this?
I mean, I think probably 90-something% of my net worth is Bitcoin. And how do I deal with it?
90,
I don't do anything.
You said 90.
90.
Yeah. Okay.
90. It goes up, it goes down. The number on the screen says however many dollars, value. It doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, thankfully, my cost basis is very low and I've made money in other ways. But the question is, do you want to deploy more fiat, or do you want to sell some Bitcoin and buy some other altcoin asset that can go up faster? So, and in the altcoin basket, obviously I've been banging the drum on Zcash and Hyperliquid. So it's on a relative stance, like those are the two, shit coins that I'm the most bullish.
So freaks listening on audio, that's Arthur Hayes and Pomp. Arthur Hayes of BitMEX and Pomp of BlockFi. There's a couple things there.
Come on. That's not. That was a low blow. Come
on. That's why the freaks tune in every week. A couple of things. First of all, Arthur has been shilling the fuck out of Zcash and Hype. And here you go. He's admitting that he owns over 90%, which is the case with pretty much all shitcoiners. They want your Bitcoin. And the second piece is, did you see Pomp's face and reaction when he said 90%? He was like, holy shit, I don't own enough Bitcoin. It's like way overweight shitcoins.
Yeah. I mean, this has been known. This has been the case. Like when I got in 2014, 2013, 2014. Like this was original shitcoin era when it was like we're gonna do what did they call it? The proof of work launches that they were fair proof of work launches. Like, hey, we have this algorithm. We're gonna have this coin. It's gonna have this schedule, and we're gonna launch it on this day. It's gonna be a fair launch. Anybody can participate. Always corrupted. But even back then, like Kobe and others, they were always like, you trade the shit coins to get more Bitcoin. I think for people who don't recognize this, and it is a shame because they do sell the dream of like shit coins being these incredible solutions to problems that can be solved with centralized databases. So that's like the unethical part. A lot of them are open about the fact that they're doing it to stack more Bitcoin now. It's very weird, and it's a very specific personality type that has the ability to do that with a straight face.
Zoomers, opinions? Are you underweight Bitcoin? Are you overweight shitcoins?
Yeah, what's your hype allocation percentage right now of your portfolios?
It's like 115% Bitcoin.
And what percentage in stretch?
None at the moment. I put like $1,000 in a couple months back as like an emergency fund, and I think it was the last time like Bitcoin dipped and everyone had the same idea. Let's go buy the dip, and so it crashed to like $93, I think, and I got out at like 98. So I haven't been back in since. I would probably just do like River 3.3 before going back into Stretch, just to keep my finances simple.
Oh man,
way more detailed of an answer than I was expecting.
I mean, I think my view on this, obviously not having been around as long as you guys have, is especially with the like DC perspective, right? We had a lot of momentum around Bitcoin kind of like January through March 2025, right? Like it was like really kind of the talk of the town. And then a couple months later, it was like, oh shit, like market structure is obviously like the bigger priority for the, Fair Shake and Coinbase and all these people. But like in March, it was like all of the, kind of like famous shitcoiners were talking about Bitcoin and the strategic Bitcoin reserve. And like, there was just a ton of momentum behind that. And then the, kind of entrenched like policy people who have been working on market structure since like 2019, they kind of regained their voice. But that was like a big wake up call for me, because I was like, hey, you've got the, like Panteras and, whoever else who's like been kind of vocally like shitcoining, like they've got a much bigger Bitcoin stack than shitcoin stack. And, we're talking about the strategic Bitcoin reserve and getting their bags pumped, like, then they start talking about Bitcoin. So, I think this is just kind of more of the same of that.
Yeah. And Matt, you have a linked expose article on the founder of Hyperliquid. What's going on here? Why'd you include this?
It's just a fascinating story. I don't know. Like Hyperliquid, those of us that focus on Bitcoin and Bitcoin only, I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention to Hyperliquid. Like I saw, posts about people shilling the token. I think to a degree, it's important to differentiate between the token and the platform, or I guess in this case, it's more of a protocol. I mean, look how successful Binance was, right? And they obviously have BNB. But I don't know. Did you read this? It was fascinating. To me, it was fascinating. Supposedly, they're like one of the most profitable companies in the world. Hyperliquid is like becoming one of the main locations for like trading like oil and wheat futures and shit, which is kind of wild. Like it obviously started as a crypto thing. So I don't know. I didn't know this guy's name. What's his name? Jeremy Yan? Is that his name? Clearly, I still don't know his name. But yeah, I just think it's a worthwhile read. They're clearly Jeffrey. Yeah. I mean, look, like if you're a Bitcoiner, I think you should like know how CZ thinks and know how Binance works. And clearly, same with this guy. He's making moves.
The fact that he's airdropping like billion, I've heard of 7-figure airdrops coming out of Hyperliquid, which, to be honest, makes me a bit shocked. That not shocked, but like, hey, maybe do shitcoin a little bit. You just like hold some hype in case you're gonna get airdrop some tokens. You never know. Kidding.
It's like a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
To be clear, freaks, Marty's 90% Bitcoin. He just speculates on the side with a smaller percentage in the hype.
Yeah, no, I don't own any hype. I did have somebody at a dinner last year tell you like you need to buy hype, and I think it's like doubled since then. I said I'm good. I'll stick to Bitcoin. But yeah, this is. I mean, I've been wrong about this hand up. I think I've said it many times before that shitcoins are eventually going to die, and Matt has been a staunch, ardent shitcoins are never going to die. They'll be around forever.
I mean, yeah, people love gambling, man. It's the human condition. It's like the first and major use case of Bitcoin was gambling on shitcoins, and it's lindy as fuck. I think that's different than expecting any particular shitcoin to overtake Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin 2.0 narrative is just a straight scam. And then on this point, on the Hyperliquid point, you know, do I think people should buy hype? No, I think you should buy Bitcoin, stay on stack sats. But censorship resistant oil future trading is cool. Can we just agree that that's pretty cool? Like wheat futures, I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you have people. I mean, I know I've talked to people that are trading on it and they love it. And I've talked to somebody thinking about launching like a mutual fund on it. Like I think, from what I understand, the protocol enables you to basically create these synthetic assets pretty trivially. And I think there's like serious money managers like looking at Hyperliquid as a legitimate alternative to the centralized wirehouses that they're used to.
Well, the key that was happening was Trump keeps doing this thing where he does market moving things when the markets are closed, but Hyperliquid isn't. So he like kind of has been forcing Hyperliquid adoption in a lot of ways, right? It's like the only place you could trade oil when a bunch of the Iranian shit was going on was on Hyperliquid. And it goes to the thesis, by the way, that for a lot of this tech, it's not really marketing that drives adoption. It's need. It's like when people need to use something, they will figure out how to use it. And then they get around the friction of figuring out how to use it, right? Because anything that has a freedom-focused angle to it usually has more friction by design because you don't have someone holding your hand and doing all that stuff for you.
Yeah. Wild time. Shout out to Keith Mayola. Good friend, Ride or Die Freak, 21,000 sat Zap. Excited to release my project to make timestamping, data authentication / verification, and encryption more accessible and simple. CipherKeep. Would love my fellow freaks to give it a look and give some feedback. CipherKeep.net. Go check it out. All right, we'll go to the Human Rights Foundation story of the week coming out of Iran, and then the Zoomers. I feel like we've been hogging the mics from me. I want to hear more from you. I want you guys to come with some hot content on the back end of the Financial Freedom Report section of the week, which again is coming out of Iran, where the regime moves to seize assets as internet blackout exceeds 1,000 hours. In Iran, the regime has ordered the identification and seizure of assets of more than 100 citizens living abroad. Wow, living abroad, including freezing their bank accounts. Those targeted reportedly include journalists, media workers, public figures, and other Iranians accused of supporting opposition groups from the outside of the country. The move comes as Iran's regime-imposed internet blackout stretches beyond 43 days, leaving millions unable to access independent information, largely cut off from the outside world. For more stories like this and others, make sure you go to financialfreedomreport.org and sign up.
I mean, I think, you know, like what, there's like a good angle to this with just like the Iran story more broadly, you know, which is like you have both Iranians who are either like still in Iran or are abroad who are trying to figure out, you know, how to move their money. And then you also have the toll collecting. I know you guys talked about this last week, but I think it's worth underscoring, like, you know, there's three options. There's like, you know, some kind of like Chinese payment rail, which obviously is, you know, the US, or from the US perspective, like we'd prefer that they're not using, Chinese payment rails. That's just sort of eroding the dollar system. You have stable coins, primarily Tether over Tron, and then you have Bitcoin, and it makes perfect sense like why Bitcoin would be used both for the tolls and for people either living in Iran or fleeing Iran. And it really just comes down to the censorship issue, right? Like, if you're collecting a $2 million toll or whatever it is, and at this point, like Tether and the U.S. Treasury Department are in pretty close collaboration. We also know that Circle is the same way, where if they flag a particular address, not just like sanctions wise, but collaboration between the public private entities, that those stablecoins will be reversed, right? And we know that's just like not true with Bitcoin, or at least there's a lot more steps that it would take in order for Iran to basically like lose access to those coins or not be able to sell them. So like it just seems pretty clear cut to me that, and I think to all of us, that Bitcoin is obviously like the right solution for these two kind of use cases. And it's obviously sad to see what's going on over there, but also it's confirming what we've all known for a while, which is Bitcoin is exactly the right technology for these circumstances.
I don't think I can add anything to that.
We have to try. You have to try.
I think it was pretty cool to see that headline that they're accepting the payments in Bitcoin. I try to think back to like even 4 years ago and trying to imagine that headline, and it maybe would have sounded a little crazy, or maybe we would have thought it would have taken a little bit longer. But no, it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see them using it like that.
Well, to be clear, I think it's unconfirmed if they actually have used Bitcoin to accept tolls. We know that they have a massive mining operation, and presumably they then use that Bitcoin that they get through mining. But I think that technicality doesn't matter as much as the fact that they should, and that people have been talking about it, because it is really Bitcoin is ideal for enemies, right? It's ideal in situations where you have no other option, and you don't want to trust a third party. I usually after the HRF story of the week, we do boosts, but we needed the hot Zoomer takes first. But now that we got those out of the way, I realized, someone reminded me that I forgot to read the Nostr Zaps, which you can find the video. Every video we do is hashed and signed and posted to Nostr, so it isn't deep faked or manipulated after the fact. And you can also easily support the show that way. It's one of the most fun ways to support the show. You can go to primal.net/RHR to do that. We forgot to read the Zaps from episode 403, which was 2 episodes ago. And we got a lot of Zaps. We got Johnny Stimulus with 21,000 sats. He gave a thumbs up emoji. Ride or Die Roaming with 21,000 sats. He did the asteroid emoji again. Still think this guy knows something that we don't know. Florida Justin, 31,113 sats. It's not a $20 million buyout offer, but it's an honest Zap. Appreciate you guys. And Plebeianon, Ride or Die Free with 42,024 sats. Don't ever become Judas, enticing as 30 pieces of silver might be. Thank you guys for your support. And then last week we had Roaming again, 21,000 sats, asteroid emoji. What the hell does that guy know? Johnny Stimulus with another thumbs up emoji, 21,000 sats. Thank you guys for supporting the show.
And the top boosts from last week's RIP 404, the rise of the Petrosat. We have a Cum Rocket coming in at top with 69,420 sats. Cum Rocket. Thank you. Stay humble, stack sats. Peace and love.
Great advice.
Pringle Mac, our girl Pringle, or girl Sill. 33,333 sats, threes across the board. Palindrome, Zap. Feel so lucky to be in the land of the free. So many great Bitcoiners here too. God bless America. Stay humble, stack sats. See you soon, Marty. Love Sill and Tony. Let's go. Can't wait to see you, Sill and Tony. This NPub is not converting. to a readable name, so I got to do it the old fashioned way. NPub 1MC YG3HE KKKKJ8YXKK CC UUFCPA 47DDRQACPP QFM2V ... 21,000 sats. Hey guys, curious what happened to Preston Pitch? He's kind of disappeared in the last few weeks. Have not heard anything. Have not. I have no insight into what's going on with Preston. Some people decide to take a break sometime, but I have not spoken with him. I've not heard anything. Wishing him well. I don't even know if he's going through a hard time, but if he is, wishing him well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for the best. I don't know either. But he has become a good friend over the years, so it's alarming. His disappearance with no mention does concern me, and I hope everything is all right.
Yeah,
us Bitcoiners need to stick together.
That is true. That is true. Zoomers, are you more looks maxing Zoomers or retard maxing Zoomers? What are we doing here?
Jack was putting on the maxing yesterday.
I've been sending it to everybody.
What?
It's just like
the peptides.
Retard maxing. Alicia Long. No, dude, he's the modern day philosopher. Marty, I couldn't agree with you more on this.
It's modern day stoicism. Retard
That's right.
maxing.
We were talking through something, and Zach was like, "Dude, just be a retard about it. Like, just quit thinking so hard."
I much prefer. I mean, because the looks maxers, they think too hard, right?
Right.
They think to the point where it's like, oh, I need to do crystal math to make sure that I'm home.
Yeah, looks maxing is a scam. Retard maxing is great advice. Just it's like don't overthink things. Just do them.
He's definitely a Bitcoiner too.
Why do you say that? I've only caught a few clips of him, but I do like it. Him in his backyard with a cigar. It's a good vibe.
I mean, it's just like I can just imagine him saying "Stay humble, stack sats" like randomly in one of his exposés. Like it's super on brand for him. So maybe he's just protecting himself.
Matt, you've got a lot of software updates this week. Bullish.
I didn't know. To be clear, freaks, I only invited Seth, and it wasn't supposed to be a Zoomer episode. It was supposed to be a nod to our accountant after tax day. But Seth invited Zach and thought I was in agreement with that. So Zach surprised us. But I think it's great because Zach can read the software updates. He can handle that portion.
Does he have them?
Do I have them?
I don't know. I sent the full list to Seth. I assume with the invite, he sent him the list.
I'll start us off. Hamster adds Reticulum LoRa mesh networking for offline Nostr and Zaps. It's good to see. Nostr
pretty awesome. I love it. This is like one of the sneaky, really cool projects. We've talked about it a bunch. Supported by OpenSats. Liberty Farmer's awesome. If you haven't listened, go search Civil Dispatch in your favorite podcast app. There's a great rip with him. But I just think it's a super cool project using Nostr for comms when the internet is down, whether that's mesh or whether that's ham radio or various other technologies. And then obviously Bitcoin for payments, right? And I think to the story earlier, right, where we see 40 plus days of no internet in Iran, like these types of tools are needed, now more than ever.
Agreed.
All right, guys, I found it.
Okay.
Zach, what's your opinion on Hamster?
Haven't used it, but
I'm thinking of the title of this week's episode and thinking of the South Park episode of what was the hamster's name? Mr. Let me find it. Logan, do you know what I'm talking about?
I think I might vaguely remember that.
Lemmy Winks, Mr. Lemmy Winks. Go on with the list. I'm gonna go get another beer.
So I did actually see the next thing, which is Tether launches self-custodial Tether wallet. And I think, this is actually interesting, and Odell obviously let you weigh in here, but well, I think one thing that a lot of people were expecting to see with Tether was owning more of their own stack. And we've obviously seen them kind of doing or sort of like pulling certain things within their larger ecosystem into their own developers, right? Like the thing that comes to mind is their mining SDK. Interesting to see them do a wallet for their own stablecoins, because previously you were using Binance or whoever to hold your Tether, but interesting to see them kind of bring that in-house.
Have you used the wallet?
I actually don't own any Tether, so no.
It's interesting that they call it tether.wallet, but the actual link is wallet.tether.com, which is confusing, guys. But I think it's tether.com. Is it tether.io or tether.com? Let me see. I think it's wallet.tether.com. Imagine it's tether.io. They have that much money and they couldn't even get the .com. Okay, wallet.tether.io. Anyway, it's a great wallet. It's an impressive wallet. I would like to see it open source. Besides that, I think they made really interesting UX decisions. They're getting some shit that by default defaults to cloud backup, but I think that makes a lot of sense for a lot of new people. I think it's also the first time that we've seen a first-class Tether wallet that is also a first-class Bitcoin wallet. It has full Lightning support and on-chain support, which is something from a pragmatic view I've wanted to see for a while. Because whether you like it or not, there's millions of people using Tether around the world. And oftentimes they're using it with Trust Wallet, which is Binance's self-custody wallet and has horrible Bitcoin support. So if they're already using Tether, it'd be great if they also had first-class Bitcoin support. It makes it more likely for them to move to the one and only coin in the future. Yeah, I think it's very clean. I was really impressed, to be honest.
I haven't tried it out yet. You know what I do try out though is the Q, CoinKite Q. Make sure you go pick it up. Use code RHR for 10% off. Best hardware wallet out there. I tried out. I spent some sats at PubKey yesterday and used Cake Wallet to do it for the first time with their Spark implementation. I saw our boy Vic and said, "All right, I got to try this out." Another seamless experience there. Very good onboarding experience. Shout out to Vic, Seth, and the team over at Cake Wallet. If you want Bitcoin only, it's very easy with Cake Wallet.
By the way, Tether used Spark as well for their Lightning implementation.
Do you think Tether brings everything in house and totally vertically integrates? Is this a step in that direction?
I mean, I think that's an interesting point that Zach brought up, and our boy John Arnold, our resident quant at 1031, actually released a research piece on stablecoins on April 10th before this news broke, that you can find at 1031timestamp.com/p/stablecoins. And he theorized this would be the case. I mean, that's what's really interesting here is it's chain agnostic Tether and Tether Gold usage, right? So regardless if you hold it on ETH or Solana or whatever, they treat it all the same, which seems like where the industry is going in terms of any of these USD tokens, but it's extra interesting to see Tether do it themselves. I think what we see is probably a mixed bag, right? Because I think they need to be a little bit careful about too much vertical integration. Historically, the biggest risk to that business, which is an incredibly profitable business, has been regulatory action. And so the more they vertically integrate, yes, they can provide better user experience. Yes, they have better leverage over the experience and the monetization of their users, but it does expose them to much more regulatory risk. So I think it's important to them that they don't go full vertical integration. And I think an interesting example there is how they rolled out Tether Gold. They kind of just rolled out Tether Gold on Ethereum and just like let people trade it on Uniswap. They were like, okay, like we don't, we want to be a little bit hands off here because this is me reading between the lines, but because of the potential for regulatory risk.
Zach, interested to get your thoughts. Do you think Tether has created a strong enough regulatory moat at this point, or are they still at risk?
I mean, that's a good question. It certainly depends on like kind of which version of Tether you're talking about as well, right? Because there's the Genius Act that was passed last year, and is currently kind of in the early stages of being implemented. And whatever they do in the United States is almost certainly going to be sort of unique to that Genius compliant stablecoin, and then what they do abroad, most likely won't be, because the business is just much better for Tether when it's not Genius compliant. The question, I think, and Odell, this might kind of tie into what you're saying about their wallet being chain agnostic, is like, to what extent are the US sort of Genius compliant stablecoin and the abroad non-Genius compliant stablecoin interchangeable, and will this app sort of facilitate that?
And it's a bit ironic too, because the non-Genius Act Tether stablecoin is actually beneficial for the U.S. government in a roundabout way too, because the relative permissionless properties of that Tether stablecoin drive demand for treasuries. So it is very interesting to see, like, on land, you have to go through all these restrictions. Outside of the U.S.'s borders, not so much. And it's like, hey, we need demand for these treasuries, so we're going to like try to get the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit ironic. It's really not even so roundabout. Like, it's just pretty obvious that Tether is propping up the U.S. Treasury markets. Maybe not propping up entirely, but they're like the 16th largest holder, and at the same time, they're doing this. They're in the middle of this uphill battle. They hired Bo Hines out of the White House to make sure that their U.S. entity was kind of on good footing. But at the same time, like non-Genius compliant Tether is still going to have a relationship with U.S. officials. It will continue to be sort of at the beckon, I think, in large part, and this is speculation, of course, but we'll continue to comply with FinCEN and all of the other departments in the Treasury, when there's an issue like Iran or some kind of enemy of the United States or adversary that's using Tether, right? They're going to go to the Treasury and they're going to probably be able to reverse those transactions. And so there's this kind of like weird invisible line between the non-Genius and Genius compliant Tether versions that really doesn't make a ton of sense, in practice, because it's just really not clear like what exactly that means, except for the way that the stablecoin is backed.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Oh, dude, I was going to do it. You don't do it right. You don't do it right. You're gonna go breaking. It's your breaking news. You added it to
Are
the
you
list.
I thought you said I don't know. Saylor,
you don't know how to go into a breaking news segue. It's got to go.
It looks like Saylor just proposed making dividends for Stretch semi-monthly, so twice a month instead of once a month. It needs to go to shareholder vote. I mean, my gut is that actually makes more sense for this exact reason that we were talking about, where people are coming coming in right before the dividend. That's when he's able to ATM, and then he has to wait till the next dividend date, right? So spreading them out twice a month. Why stop there? Why not do it every week? I don't know. What do you have an opinion on it? It seems important, so that's why I put it in.
Why not every day? I want FPPS functionality with my stretch tokens. I want to be able to get paid out every day.
Daily.
Daily.
How else are you going to stay in the pool all day?
Right?
I need your daily pina colada allotment.
Yeah, I need to buy a new daiquiri every hour. I need to make sure that it should be like a minute by minute stream into my bank account, my brokerage account.
What? Do we know how many? He owns 40% plus of MSTR, right?
Let's ask.
I think he's just under majority shareholder, but presumably this is all but locked in.
And doesn't he own like the voting shares? 9.9% ownership stake in the company.
No, but voting shares is 40% plus, but under 50.
He maintains majority voting control through Class B shares.
Okay, so it's going up for a vote, guys. I wonder if it's going to pass.
Probably will.
But I think this is an example of I don't know, that all this shit is still very much in flux and early and will be changed at will. And so while you're sipping pina coladas, like you're very much just putting your full trust and faith in Saylor and his operating team, which could work out for you. I hope it does.
All right. Back to Liz Zimmerzak. You've got two stories to blow through. And then interested to talk about the one after that at length.
All right. Looks like the next one is Wisp Zaps for normies.
Yeah,
also
so
not used to this one.
Wisp is a great new client on Android, a new Nostr app on Android, run by Ride or Die Freak UTXO. He's actually going to come on Citadel Dispatch this week, so keep out for that. I'm pretty excited for that conversation. But yeah, he made the wild change to Wisp to change Zaps to send money. And it's all dollar denominated. Obviously, it's Bitcoin in the back end. But I actually think this is kind of an interesting experiment. I think it's a good idea. Interesting to see someone do it. And basically, by default, you will be in this send money, not mention Bitcoin scheme. Unless you go to like advanced features and opt into Bitcoin. And it should be interesting to see how normies react to that.
I like that. Shout out to you, UTXO. I'm rearing to read the next one, but Zimmerzak's on. It's his turn.
He sent me a screenshot, by the way, of I zapped him. And it was just like, Odell sent you money. A screenshot of his notifications. Kind of bangs.
Marty, that's all you, bro. You take it away.
And spam. STRFry, a local AI-powered spam fighting plugin for STRFry.
Stir fry.
Stir fry. There we go. Naming. UTXO. Come on, brother. Come on.
So I think this is cool. So Stir Fry is the most popular relay implementation. And, you know, I think both in Nostr and on corporate social media, the big conversation right now is how do you deal with bots, right? And centralized corporate social, the way they deal with it is adding KYC and having centralized block lists. Obviously, if you care about freedom of comms and freedom of speech, that's not a ideal path, nor do I think it's the most effective path. Scammers can get around KYC stuff. So anyway, this is an interesting way of handling it, which is a small local model that is very focused and is running alongside your relay, and filtering spam for you, filtering bot activity.
Yeah. Shout out to Stir Fry. Shout out to spam prevention in that plugin. Speaking of spam prevention, looks like we've got some competitive blocking going on in X where TBPN isn't showing up in people's feeds after being acquired by OpenAI. Drama.
Yeah, so I mean, I put this here for two reasons. First of all, we covered it last week, which, by the way, since then, it seems like the deal was over $100 million in stock. But we were correct in our speculation that, the main reason Sam bought it was because he wants to be cool with tech bros who currently hate him. So both the hosts are also, it seems like they're taking leadership positions in the external comms of OpenAI, which actually does make a lot of sense to me. But historically, TBPN, which is a daily show that streams on X and YouTube, etc., for the last year, was built mostly on X. Like X was their main platform. You see this a lot, right? People pick one platform, it's their main, and then they have much less viewers on other platforms. Elon, who co-founded OpenAI, absolutely hates Sam Altman. So the theory right now is after the purchase, they've been shadow banned from their main platform. And I would say, first of all, that would not surprise me. That actually probably is the case. I think there's probably a secondary aspect there that their audience doesn't like that they sold out to OpenAI. So they're just engaging less. But the real problem is that there's no way you can verify this, right? People are theorizing that they got shadow banned. But ultimately, the only people that really know are probably like Elon and Nikita over at X. And no one else can verify if they've been shadow banned or not. Fortunately for them, they've already cashed out in a massive, massive fucking way. But you can see how dangerous this is for people whose livelihoods depend on these centralized platforms.
Not great. Not ideal. I like the TBPN guys. I don't think they should have sold out to Sam, but I like those guys. I like the show. Are we going to turn into the next TBPN? Are we going to have Anthropic bias? Get valued at? I think we could get valued. They got 100 in stock. I think we can easily.
You're gonna run outward comms for woke Anthropic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna become an effective altruist if they value us at 150 million and give us money. Speaking of which, speaking of effective altruists getting equity stakes in Anthropic, do you think Sam Bankman-Fried's going crazy in prison knowing that Alameda's stake in Anthropic's now worth like what, $70 billion or something like that? Would have been worth.
And I think what's even worse than that was the bankruptcy estate like fire sold it for like 1.5 billion or something.
Yeah.
I mean, to be clear here, Sam can still go fuck himself. It's easier to make good VC bets when you take your customer money and sprinkle it across like 300 projects, and one of them was Anthropic. But yeah, it is ironic that that one investment alone would have returned all of the money and then some.
Yeah.
It is not a coincidence, by the way, that Dario from Anthropic is also a woke effective altruist, and so is SBF. They kind of all run in the same circles.
It doesn't look like he's on as much as amphetamines as Sam was, though. He looks to have it more put together.
I'm curious. Do you guys think that like the sort of like personal brands that the TBPN guys created, will sort of sustain them even if they're not getting the same viewership on X? Like it seems to me like the issue that Sam Altman was trying to solve here was this narrative problem of all the CEOs of massive AI companies are just like retarded and don't know how to talk to people and sort of sell AI as a product, right? Like that just seems like pretty obvious and uncontroversial. But these two guys, they actually seem like they're pretty good at it. And I think from a personal perspective, like think they're pretty good at it. So I don't know. Like I'm just wondering, like, is it the viewership or is it, hey, we can actually kind of talk about this product in a way that appeals to people?
Look, Sam overpays so people can hang out with him. He always does that. I don't think he bought the business. Like, it wasn't to buy the business. They didn't do like an analysis on the financials of the business and then calculate a valuation based on it. It was mostly an acqui-hire.
I mean,
and
if their numbers
What?
that were reported are right, like it seems right in line. They get like a 10
except
10x EBITDA
except
multiple.
what would go against that is they were making money off of sponsorships, and as soon as the deal happened, they cut all the sponsorships. So they clearly weren't doing it for revenue. Is my point. The TBPN guys, first of all, from what I see, just seem like cool guys. Like, I would want to have a beer with them and hang out with them. So, I mean, doesn't matter what their viewership is, that doesn't change. And then second of all, what a lot of people don't realize is they had long established careers in tech bro circles before they started TBPN and have very strong networks. And that's how they helped bootstrap it so quickly in a year. And that obviously doesn't evaporate. So it's hard to see them not being a net benefit to OpenAI in terms of that specific demographic, which is the people that are really locked in tech bro circles, which is the demographic, by the way, that OpenAI has had a lot of trouble with. All that said, is it worth 100 million plus? I don't know. It's all funny money, right? It's like, it's just all printed equity that is not liquid yet at insane valuations.
So Zach, to answer your question, for the TBPM bros, I don't think it matters. They got their bag. Like,
yeah,
if the show like falls to the wayside and sort of shrivels on the OpenAI vine and dies, like, we got our bag, we're good. But what I imagine is going to happen is, obviously the news is still relatively fresh. I'd be more interested to see 6, 9, 12 months down the line. Like, I imagine they'll have like a sort of gradual sort of reemergence with a foot forward for OpenAI specifically. That I will not be shocked if it's successful in terms of changing the perception of OpenAI compared to its competitors. It's going to be a slow roll though.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. Speaking of AI, I know you guys are both working with it. Update the freaks or give us some insight into how you're using AI. What excites you about it? You guys got harnesses, you got agents. What's your stack? How's it working for you?
You want to go first, Zach?
Sure. So, like personally, at this point, kind of a bit of a Claude Maxi. Sorry, Odell. But you know, I think like at BPI, like we've all really kind of leaned into sort of organizational wide like Claude usage. We have, you know, a bunch of shared skills, you know, for kind of unified voice, unified, you know, sort of messaging on particular topics. You know, I'm really kind of like slotting more into the development side of things, and so using that to automate a fair amount of that stuff. And then we do have some folks kind of playing around with OpenClaw. Trey, who I don't know if most of the freaks know Trey, but he's one of the kind of OGs in the Bitcoin DC community. He ran the Bitcoin district, so he's been helping us out at BPI. He's got a long and impressive history with tools like this, and so he's leading the charge on the OpenClaw stuff, which you know, from a security perspective might be you know, tread more lightly.
Yeah,
it's getting better.
We have to take it a little bit more slower on our side of things because of like the sensitive client data. So, you know, not like putting a tax return into Claude by any means, but you know, let's say you've got a business that has a bunch of fixed assets, you know, depreciation schedule, and the client sends us like a PDF of it or something. You know, we could toss that into Claude and give it the import Excel file for the tax software, and you know, spit out that perfect import in a fraction of time it would have taken a couple of years back. So, yeah, still kind of playing around with you know, how we can use it best within our firm. But one way we've really enjoyed it is Jason actually made us some PBM skills, and we have like a shared Claude project on that. And so it's been pretty cool to play around with those, and we're actually using PBM pretty heavily internally right now to work through some things. So it's been awesome to just go in there and play around in that. So that's one of my favorite ways right now.
Don't assume the freaks know what PBM is. Explain it. What is it? We've been implementing it.
I want to hear your explanation.
Principle-based management. It's applying a Hayekian free market view of the macro to the micro. The management style of Coke Industries. But I've gone through the process with Jason Hughley from Satoshi Pacioli for like the last 6 months. But no, I think the PBM skills. So you basically have these different areas of your business, the knowledge, the roles and responsibilities, your vision statement, all of that, and you can create skills. And if you're running like a marginal analysis or something, if you want to make a business decision or do a retrospective on what you've done, and you have your sort of PBM artifacts for your specific business, creating skills out of those and having the agent help you basically make sure you're staying on track with the PBM sort of framework is very helpful.
Yeah, no, it's been good. Like we did the vision statement here at the firm maybe last summer, I think. And I'm actually the new treasurer for BDK Foundation. So we've been working on their vision statement too. And so we've been working with Jason on that. And it really is just a great exercise. Like a lot of these things, maybe they're assumed within your business, and you might assume that everyone's on the same page, and everyone's not. So it's nice to really flesh it out and iron it out, and put pen to paper.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, moving on. We gotta blow through this. I told my wife it would be a tight hour.
Yeah,
but
same.
We spread the cheeks, and I'm almost 2 hours in here. Bitcoin Scholars Fund launched with a tax credit for K-12 students, Bitcoin education. This is from our good friends Nifty and Phil Geiger, and I believe a couple others are involved with this too. But if you're looking for the ability to support Bitcoin education while also getting a tax write-off, consider Bitcoin Scholars Fund.
Yeah, and they're using what's cool here is they're using some new carve out that came out of the one big beautiful Trump bill that allows you to get 1-to-1 tax deduction. So if you donate, what is it, the first $1,700, and that's $3,400 per couple, it's basically no cost to you whatsoever. You get a full 100% tax write-off. And I don't know if Marty said it, but the idea is to basically help teachers, educate teachers so that they're more prepared to then improve their curriculum to their students, which seems like a great initiative. One thing I do want to highlight, just talking about layered house of cards, is they do plan on allocating a decent portion of their treasury to STRC so that they can pay for operational expenses. And I hope that works out for them.
All right, moving on. We got a Zap that we got to read before I forget from 5T34K Stake. With what is it when you mix up the numbers and the letters? What's that called? Whatever. Stake boosted us 21,012 sats palindrome. Zap. If you want to see your Zaps live on stream with alerts and text to speech and custom on stream widgets and leaderboards, I've built Zap alerts. You can find out more at zapsonstream.com. Wow. Something I've been asking for.
Pretty cool domain too. Love to see a permissionless building.
It's probably cheap too. Sarah Jade, 22,255 sats. Great show. Wanted to let people know that if you were going to BTC in Vegas this year, there is an exclusive Nostr event called Nos Vegas on Tuesday, April 28th at We All Scream nightclub on Fremont. There will be live music from Value for Value artists, education, networking, and a very special surprise guest. Grab your tickets at nosvegas.shakespeare.wtf. Can't wait to see you there.
By the way, Shakespeare.
I heard there's another.
Go on.
Well, I heard there's another good event happening in Vegas. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah.
Fish is playing the Sphere the whole weekend. So you guys-
Hot
That was not what I was thinking about.
Hotstyle.pubkey.com. Join us. Tickets are limited. It's going to be a great time. I'm looking forward to meeting a bunch of the freaks that I haven't already. But what I was saying is Shakespeare is an awesome AI-based web builder. Used it to build and maintain RHR.TV. It's also very easy to use your own custom domain with it. So Sarah Jade, consider it instead of using the nasvegas.shakespeare. What WTF like builder domain.
on the hot style takeover, Thomas called me. I don't think we've decided whether or not we're going to publicly announce this. We may not. So I'm not going to do it here. Big guest just confirmed. A couple of hours ago. It's true. It's true.
Are you guys getting
who the
roasted
guest
again?
is? I don't know who
What?
the guest is.
He hasn't told you yet. He told me.
It's probably Thomas always oversells these things. So just you should still join us regardless. I question how big the guest is. But also on that note, by the way, there's going to be a beefsteak on the 27th after the Rabbit Hole recap, after Hot Style. And I think we might have buses that take you directly from Hot Style to the beefsteak. But if you're interested in that, tickets are also going fast. So I linked to Away Slices, Beefsteak Josh's Noster post. Reach out to him if you want to get on the list, and I would do that ASAP. Beefsteak is always one of the best events.
It is. All right, last thing on the list, or second last thing. Eyes are on Indonesia, where Department of War Secretary Hegseth just hosted Indonesian counterpart and announced a major defense cooperation partnership. The Strait of Hormuz is the second highest volume oil choke point on Earth. What's the first? That is the Strait of Malacca in Indonesia, where 80% of China's oil imports pass through. Global oil shipping choke points are being secured by the U.S. military and their partners. Trump is securing the board. It's happening. Panikins in dismay. You should have.
What's your opinion on this, Marty?
It's just I'm just reading it for the first time. Give me a second. Hold on. I'm just hearing this for the first time.
First of all, you're definitely not hearing this for the first time.
Yes, I am. Why? Why do you say that?
I mean, well, okay, well, I do think it's interesting, and I think it's notable that is Venezuela, kind of Panama Canal, Strait of Hormuz, Strait of Malacca. But one interesting thing to note, and this is why I question that you're first hearing this, is like Twitter just decided one day that it was just like Strait of Malacca. It's all about the Strait of Malacca. And it just like felt like marching orders went out, and everyone's like, Trump's securing the board. We got the Strait of Malacca too. And like most people don't even know what the Strait of Malacca is. And then like 3 days, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, everyone decided that it was going to be trending on X. And I just thought that was interesting.
Well, I didn't know what it was until I just read that tweet. And now I know that's Strait of Malacca. It's Indonesia. 80% of Chinese oil imports come through there. And
you know what I'm going to pull up right now?
What?
Is there?
I've been gone all week. I've been traveling all week.
Okay, well, there's definitely a TFTC AI overview of the Strait of Malacca propaganda that has already been posted. I'm not going to look for it right now, but I would bet on the fact that there's a Strait of Malacca post on the TFTC.
Guess what? TFTC is getting bigger than me. I don't run the Twitter account anymore. You know, I don't sit there and read every post. You know.
Yeah, I saw the Bugle headline that you were abducted by your intern, and now it's just neocon clickbait.
Would you like the Bugle? Is it neocon? Is it necessarily neocon? Just because you're doomers and panic doesn't mean
the AI photo of you being found by police officers in the closet, all like gagged and tied, is yeah, there it is. Masterclass.
The Bugle Boys will be joining us in Vegas for the Hot Style Takeover. It's funny that headshot. I need a new headshot. If anybody has headshot capabilities or wants to make me an AI headshot, the one that they took to make that AI generated version of me tied up I took that in 2014. It's 12 years old, and it's like used for every conference I go to. I think it's time for a new one. Just wanted to note that. All right, last thing on the list, SEEDOR, seedor.io. Use 5% off shipping worldwide, code RHR. And the note here at the bottom says, and tell them to come to my shitty, bizarre pleb booth at Bitcoin Las Vegas so I don't have to haul steel tubes back to Europe.
Okay. So there's a backstory here, but first, considering we're their largest investor and they're a sponsor of the podcast, we should give them a shout out first. If you're not already using Strike, download Strike in your favorite app store. It's the best way to buy, sell, borrow, use your Bitcoin. If you use code RHR, you get a $500 discount on trading fees. If you set up an auto DCA and you're just auto stacking sats and auto withdrawing, you pay no fees forever, which is awesome. I just use Strike to borrow against some of my Bitcoin to pay my taxes so that I didn't have another taxable event on top of it. And it was a seamless experience. It was a very seamless experience. I could get dollars in my bank account to wire to the federal government in less than 5 minutes with the instant withdrawal feature, which is awesome. But the SEEDOR story is interesting, Marty. SEEDOR is seedor.io is a cold storage steel solution for you to record your seed. I was trolling the creator of it. He goes by CoinJoined on X. I don't know what his actual name is.
Chris
CW. That he needed code RHR like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. And supposedly he was trying to shit on me in our group chat that only 17 freaks used it. We never discussed it. Wait, 17 freaks used code RHR without us ever mentioning it, which I think is impressive. Like that's actually the freak army is strong.
We've talked about SEEDOR before, but it's been a while.
Yeah, isn't that cool? In like a couple weeks.
We're getting to the point where like we need to talk off the record about this. Like we're getting a lot of we're getting a lot of business to companies. We're not like, are we getting kickbacks? Are we getting kickbacks?
We're not getting most of them. We don't get any kickbacks for whatsoever. Just the freaks get them. Anyway, if you go to seedor.it, you can use code RHR for 5% off. And if you find him in person in Vegas, what did you say? He'll give you 10% off.
Odell sent me.
No, just say code RHR to him in audible form. He'll know who sent you.
Yeah. I love Chris. Chris is a big frame mogger in the space. He's like 6'8".
He's
German.
so fucking tall.
Looking forward to seeing you in Vegas, Chris. Gentlemen, that's the end of the list. What do we have to say? What is everybody feeling right now? It's Friday. It's happy hour. It's 5:15. It's a long week for me. My wife made me aware that we've got 3 couples and their kids coming over at 6 p.m. A couple of hours ago. So ripping into a little Friday night here in the Philly area. What do you guys got in tap this weekend?
We're Joe is hosting me and Jack, another member of the team, for a brisket. So about to go tear that up and gear up for next week to get going on taxes again.
Probably go out to the bar tonight, play a little pool, take it easy. Looking forward to Vegas. See you all there. Are you guys gonna get roasted again?
I don't know. We're just the talent. We just like Thomas and the PubKey team, and now the Bugle Boys. They handle all the coordination layers. We just go on stage and have a fun time.
There is going to be a comedian. I don't know if it's a roast comedian.
I will say that was a horrible strategy for the Nashville one because that guy, I mean, he told Freak's children that they should be aborted, and I just regretted ever having Thomas be in control of that experience. But now we're doing it again.
It was pretty tough, not gonna lie. I convinced my wife. I was like, "You gotta come. This is gonna be so good." And by the end of that segment, I was like, "God, I shouldn't have brought her here. This is so embarrassing."
It was a fun time. It's gonna be fun. Hey, we iterate, we build.
Hotstyle.pubkey.com.
Are you doing a brisket this weekend, Matt?
No, I'm not doing a brisket. I don't know. It'll be a good weekend. I recently bought our family's first camper. We took it camping last weekend, which was awesome. Hopefully we'll go camping again this weekend. But yeah, it'll be a good weekend. I'm bullish as fuck. Feeling it. Let's fucking go, freaks.
We're going to win.
I'm getting yelled at. I don't know if you can hear it in the mic, but
yeah, I'm also getting.
I'm wrapping up here, baby. I'm wrapping up. Don't worry. All right. Peace of love, freaks.